Something absolutely extraordinary just unfolded in the heart of London that has the entire world talking, and trust me when I say you're going to want to hear every single detail of this, because what we witnessed wasn't just another diplomatic gathering or routine state visit, but rather a breathtaking reunion of some of the most admired and influential royal couples from the Middle East coming together in a display of unity, elegance and power that rarely graces the international stage. And before we dive deep into every captivating moment of this historic occasion, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now, because we bring you the most exclusive royal news and insider stories that you won't find anywhere else. And don't forget to smash that like button, share this video with everyone who loves royal families, and drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I absolutely love hearing from you, and your perspective matters in our growing community of royal enthusiasts from around the world. London has always been a crossroads of international diplomacy and royal connections, but what transpired recently elevated the city to something truly spectacular as the darling couples of Middle Eastern royalty descended upon the British capital, creating an atmosphere of anticipation and excitement that rippled through diplomatic circles and captivated observers worldwide. And we're talking about the kind of gathering that doesn't happen every day, where power meets grace, where tradition embraces modernity, and where some of the most photographed and admired royal figures on the planet came together under one roof, creating moments that will be remembered for years to come and analyzed by royal watchers, historians and diplomacy experts alike. At the center of this magnificent reunion stood Their Majesties King Abdullah II and Queen Rania of Jordan, a couple whose influence extends far beyond their kingdom's borders and whose presence on the world stage has consistently represented a perfect blend of traditional values and progressive vision. And Queen Rania in particular has become a global icon, not just for her timeless elegance and impeccable fashion sense, but for her tireless advocacy for education, women's rights and social development across the Middle East and beyond, making her one of the most recognized and respected royal figures in the contemporary world. And her partnership with King Abdullah has exemplified what modern monarchy can achieve when compassion meets leadership and vision meets action. Joining them in London were other distinguished couples from the Gulf region, including representatives from Qatar's royal family, whose influence in international affairs has grown exponentially over recent decades, transforming their nation into a major player on the global stage through strategic investments, cultural initiatives and groundbreaking diplomatic efforts that have positioned Qatar as a bridge between East and West and a facilitator of dialogue in some of the world's most challenging geopolitical situations. And the presence of Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani and his consort Sheikha Jawaher bint Hamad bin Suhaim Al Thani added another layer of sophistication and influence to this already remarkable gathering. The reunion wasn't merely about photo opportunities or ceremonial pleasantries, though those elements certainly captured public imagination, with images circulating across social media platforms showing these royal couples in various settings, from formal receptions to more intimate conversational moments that revealed the genuine warmth and camaraderie that exists between these families, despite the complexities and sometimes tensions that characterize Middle Eastern geopolitics. And what struck observers most profoundly was the evident mutual respect and affection displayed between these couples, suggesting that behind the formal titles and diplomatic protocols exist real relationships built over years of cooperation, shared experiences and common goals. What made this London reunion particularly significant was the timing, coming at a moment when the Middle East faces numerous challenges, from ongoing conflicts to economic transformations to social changes that are reshaping the region's identity and future trajectory. And the fact that these influential royal couples chose to gather together sent powerful signals about unity, cooperation and the importance of maintaining strong relationships across national boundaries and dynastic lines. And diplomatic analysts have noted that such gatherings, while appearing social on the surface, often facilitate crucial conversations and agreements that shape regional policies and international relations in ways the public may not immediately recognize. Queen Rania's appearance at these London events once again demonstrated why she remains such a compelling figure in international circles, as she effortlessly combined regal bearing with approachable warmth, wearing ensembles that reflected both contemporary fashion sensibilities and respect for cultural traditions. And her interactions with other royal consorts revealed the network of influential women who wield significant soft power in shaping public discourse, supporting humanitarian causes and advocating for progressive changes within traditional frameworks. And these women represent a generation of Middle Eastern royalty that has redefined what it means to be a queen or princess in the 21st century, using their platforms to address global challenges from refugee crises to climate change to youth unemployment. The Jordanian royal couple's relationship with their counterparts from other Gulf nations reflects decades of careful diplomatic cultivation, as Jordan, despite its relatively modest size and limited natural resources, has maintained outsized influence in regional affairs through strategic positioning, diplomatic acumen, and the personal relationships that King Abdullah and Queen Rania have nurtured with leaders across the Middle East and beyond, and their ability to convene, bring together, and facilitate dialogue among various parties has made them invaluable partners in international efforts to promote stability and progress in one of the world's most volatile regions. The London setting for this reunion carried its own significance, as the British capital has long served as neutral ground where Middle Eastern royals feel comfortable gathering, given the historical connections between Britain and many Gulf states and the city's status as a global hub for finance, culture and diplomacy. And London's luxury hotels, historic palaces and exclusive venues provided the perfect backdrop for events that required both discretion and grandeur, allowing these royal couples to conduct their business away from the intense scrutiny they might face in their home countries, while still maintaining the dignity and protocol appropriate to their positions. Beyond the official engagements, the reunion offered these royal couples opportunities to strengthen personal bonds that transcend political considerations, as they share common experiences of navigating the unique pressures and responsibilities that come with royal status in the modern era, where every action is scrutinized. Social media amplifies both praise and criticism, and the expectations placed upon them extend far beyond ceremonial duties to include active leadership in addressing their nation's most pressing challenges, and the support system that exists among these families provides crucial emotional and practical resources that help them fulfill their demanding roles. The fashion diplomacy on display throughout the reunion events deserves special mention, as the royal ladies showcased stunning wardrobes that demonstrated their individual styles while respecting the formal nature of the occasions, and Queen Rania in particular has mastered the art of using fashion as a diplomatic tool, selecting designers and styles that honor both international trends and regional sensibilities and send subtle messages about Jordan's positioning as a bridge between traditions and modernity. And her choices influence fashion trends across the Middle East and inspire countless women who see in her a role model who balances multiple identities with grace and authenticity. Security considerations surrounding such a high-profile gathering of Middle Eastern royalty in London would have been extraordinary, requiring coordination between multiple intelligence agencies, security services and diplomatic protection teams to ensure the safety of these distinguished visitors while allowing them the freedom to conduct their affairs and enjoy the hospitality that London offers. And the successful execution of these security arrangements speaks to the deep cooperation that exists between Britain and these Middle Eastern nations, and the professionalism of all involved in making such complex operations appear seamless to outside observers. The media coverage of the reunion, both in traditional outlets and across digital platforms, highlighted the enduring public fascination with royalty, particularly when it involves figures who embody both ancient traditions and contemporary relevance, and the images, videos and reports that emerged from London fed global audiences hungry for glimpses into the lives of these extraordinary individuals and the relationships between families whose influence extends across continents and whose decisions can affect millions of lives. And this coverage also reflected how Middle Eastern royalty has successfully adapted to the media landscape of the 21st century, using their visibility to advance causes, promote their nations and shape narratives in ways that previous generations could never have imagined. For the host nation, these visits represented significant diplomatic and economic opportunities, as Middle Eastern royals, when visiting London, typically engage in activities beyond their official schedules, including property viewings, investment discussions, shopping at exclusive boutiques and dining at prestigious restaurants, all of which contribute substantially to the British economy and reinforce London's position as a preferred destination for the global elite. And the relationships forged and strengthened during such visits often lead to increased investment flows, educational partnerships and cultural exchanges that benefit both sides. The reunion also highlighted the evolving role of royal consorts in Middle Eastern monarchies, as figures like Queen Rania have transformed their positions from largely ceremonial roles into platforms for substantial influence and impact, and these women have become voices for change, advocates for vulnerable populations and representatives of their nations on the global stage, challenging outdated stereotypes about Middle Eastern women and demonstrating the diverse realities that exist across the region. And their presence alongside their husbands at such gatherings signals the increasingly partnership-based nature of modern Middle Eastern monarchy. As the London reunion concluded and these royal couples returned to their respective nations, they carried with them not just memories of elegant gatherings and warm conversations but also the strengthened bonds, understandings and perhaps agreements that will shape their future cooperation and the region's trajectory. And while the full significance of what was discussed and decided may not be immediately apparent to outside observers, the fact that such a gathering occurred at all represents something valuable in a world where division and conflict too often dominate headlines and where the patient work of building and maintaining relationships across borders can sometimes prevent crises before they emerge. The images of these beloved royal couples together in London will endure in public memory as symbols of what Middle Eastern leadership can represent at its best, combining dignity with accessibility, tradition with progress, and national pride with international cooperation. And as we reflect on this extraordinary reunion, we're reminded that behind the titles and the protocol exist real people navigating complex responsibilities, and that the relationships they build with one another matter not just for diplomatic scorecards but for the peace, stability, and prosperity of millions who look to them for leadership. Now here's what I want to know from you. After witnessing this remarkable gathering of Middle Eastern royal power couples in London and seeing the warmth and unity they displayed, do you believe that personal relationships between royal families can genuinely influence regional politics and help bridge divides, or are these gatherings primarily symbolic gestures that look impressive but ultimately have limited impact on the hard realities of international relations and power dynamics?